What's up everybody, RetroWolf88 here, and you're probably wondering to yourself, why am I holding a Game Boy? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because I discovered a game on the Nintendo Switch that reminds me of the Game Boy because it was inspired by the Game Boy, and that's a game called Awesome Pea. So I want you to hit that subscribe button, grab a can of peas, a glass of apple juice, and some ketchup, and let's talk about Awesome Pea on the Nintendo Switch. Awesome Pea on the Nintendo Switch is a 2D side-scrolling platforming game that's heavily inspired by this little guy right here. For those of you that remember and grew up during this era, the Game Boy has a sort of green tint to all the graphics due to the screen and the technology involved with this little guy. It kind of gave all the games like a greenish tint, a greenish color palette. You kind of got used to it after a while, but of course looking back on it now, it's kind of archaic. But for me, having grown up with one of these, it's very nostalgic. So when I saw Awesome Pea on the Nintendo Switch and I saw the graphics, it has that same Game Boy style. I don't even know how many bits a Game Boy is. I'm going to assume it's 8 bits, but it had that same Game Boy style graphic with the green tint, the green color palette to everything, and it just really caught my eye and it was very nostalgic. And then I started playing the game, and not only is the graphics influenced by the Game Boy, but the gameplay and the music is also influenced. The game consists of 30 levels. In each level, you're trying to make it to the end of the level, and throughout the level you're dodging all sorts of obstacles and enemies. Some of the obstacles are things like spikes, spinning blades, you've got moving platforms, and you've got these frogs that spit bubbles at you. You've got skulls that fly through the air. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the game. Some of the levels are more vertical, whereas some of the levels are more horizontal. But again, the only goal is to make it to the end of the level, much like many of the side-scrolling platforms during the Game Boy era. However, during the levels, there are also a lot of collectibles to try to pick up in the level. They consist of coins and diamonds. So every level has a certain number of coins to find and a certain number of diamonds to find, which give them a bit of replayability. Now, Awesome Pea is a pretty difficult game. There were times whenever I was playing it that I was getting pretty pissed off. My blood pressure was definitely skyrocketing during some of these levels because it's one of those games where you're just going to die over and over and over in some of the levels until you learn the pattern of the level. Once you learn the pattern of the level, you'll get to where you can fly through that level that was once killing you repeatedly in multiple stages of the level. And that definitely reminds me of the Game Boy days, the NES days, where that's how the developers got longevity out of the game, is by making it to where you had to learn the patterns in order to make it through the game effectively. And Awesome Pea does a fantastic job of that. It's hard enough just to get to the exit in most of the levels. Some are easier than others, but most of them are pretty difficult. But trying to get to the exit while also collecting all of the coins and all of the diamonds, that adds another layer of challenge that I really appreciate, because again, it gives a lot of replayability to the levels. Another thing I like about the game is that there's a lot of different musical tracks in the game. There's a lot of different tunes, and they will definitely remind you of music that you heard on the Game Boy games back in the day. I'm going to let my editor play a little bit of the music for a few seconds so you can hear it for yourself. Pretty awesome, right? I really enjoy the music in this game, and I found that almost every level seems to have a different tune, a different track. Some of them repeat a little bit from time to time, but for the most part you got a lot of variety in the music. Now, Awesome Pea came out on March 1st on the Nintendo Switch eShop, digital only, no physical release. The game only costs $5.99. It's not a very long game, it's not a very complex game, but it's a nice little game to pick up and play, you know, a couple levels here and there, or try a level that you're having a particularly difficult time with, just to pass the time. If you got, you know, if you don't have time to really play a more complicated game, or if you're in between larger games and you just want to play something quick, then Awesome Pea is a great game for that. It's not for the faint of heart though. As I said, it's a difficult game. So if you don't have a lot of patience with games like this that really require you to learn the pattern, then this may not be the game for you. I don't want to see anybody break their Pro controllers or throw their Joy-Cons across the room. Okay? I don't want to see that. So if you don't like difficult games, you may want to stay away from this one. But for those of you that grew up during the Game Boy era and the NES era, and you really like the Game Boy and you have a lot of nostalgia for the Game Boy, then I highly recommend picking up Awesome P, because it will really scratch that nostalgic itch that you may or may not be feeling for the Game Boy. It certainly did for me, and I enjoyed the game quite a bit, and I hope you will too. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure and hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Trying new things with the channel, trying different formats with some of the videos, see what works, see what doesn't work. So if you like this new format for impressions videos, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any games on the eShop that you think I should check out and do a video on. And with that, I will see you all next time. Later.